A dull creaking sound pulls me through the wheat. The sky is so blue, like it's been painted on. I reach a clearing in the wheat to find a girl with long, dark brown hair swinging on a rusted-out swing set. The curves of her body are barely concealed under a sheer white slip. She glances at me over her shoulder, a sly smile playing across her cherry lips. Ollie. I walk around the clearing so I can face her. She stretches out her long tan legs in front of her like she's trying to reach heaven with her tiptoes. Her legs are slightly parted. Catching my gaze, her smile deepens. Her hazel eyes look darker than normal, like the algae clinging to the rocks at the bottom of Harmon Lake. I want to go higher, she says. Don't you want to push me? Sure. I cross behind her. She comes back to me like an arrow, legs tucked beneath her. I reach out to give her a push. The feel of her warm body against my hands sends a surge of raw electricity through me. The sky begins to darken, ominous clouds rolling in all around us, but I don't care. All I want to do is touch her again. I push her. She laughs as she swings higher and higher away from me. When she returns, Ollie tilts her head back. Her eyes are black. Pure black, like pools of crude. I stumble back into the wheat, and on the upswing Ollie lets go, disappearing into the churning sky. Calling her name, I careen around the clearing, the empty swing whipping all around me, but she never comes back down. The swing sways and creaks, over and over. The sound grates on my nerves, like a dull knife sawing through bone, but there's another sound, a warm, wet sucking sound coming from a hollow in the wheat. Something about that sound makes me want to crawl out of my skin, but I have to know what it is. With each step forward, a sickeningly sweet metallic odor fills my senses, making me want to gag. I try to turn back, but it's too late. The wheat has closed in all around me, leading me to a nest made up of discarded wheat stems. Inside, a little girl with light blonde pigtails lies next to a calf with golden fur. The little girl is suckling from the dead calf. Noodle! I gasp. She sits up, blood dripping from her mouth. He's coming. I jolt upright in bed, chest heaving, my skin covered in a thick sheen of cold sweat. My entire body's trembling. Dragging my hand through my damp hair, I think maybe it's withdrawal symptoms. I've been popping those sleeping pills like candy for the past year. But that dream. Jesus. I can't shake the image of Noodle with that calf. I get up to shut the window, and that's when I notice a warm glow coming from the western edge of our property, from the Neely Ranch. It looks like it's spilling from every crack of the breeding barn. I clench my eyes shut. Whatever this is, I need to snap out of it. I press my hand against the glass, and a shock of cold sinks into my flesh, making the hair on my arms stand up. This isn't a dream. I glance back at the clock. 11:59 p.m. No way. I exhale as I brace myself against the window frame. Could it be Ollie? Could she seriously be waiting for me there? Come on, Clay. Don't do this to yourself. I shut the window and start to resecure the garbage bag, but I can't take it. I have to know. If Ollie's there, waiting for me, and I don't go, I'll never forgive myself. Pulling on my jeans and a t-shirt, I creep down the stairs. I know exactly where the creaks are in the pine floors, from when Dale used to stay over and we'd sneak out and run around like idiots, playing Marco Polo in the wheat. My heart aches when I see Noodles arranged my work boots next to the door, exactly 1 inch apart. There's a note tucked in the right one. I put the note in my pocket and slip on my boots, stepping outside into the brisk air. As I head toward the Neely Ranch, my breath hovers all around me. The only sound is the wheat being crushed beneath my boots, like tiny skeletons. The sky looks the same as it did on the night Dad marched into the wheat clutching that crucifix. And I think to myself, what the hell am I even doing out here? This is just morbid and pathetic. It's probably nothing. Just my imagination or some dumbass kids from the city. But if they're looking for ghosts, I can sure lend a hand. Serve them right. As I reach the edge of our property, I duck under the broken-down fence and walk straight for the breeding barn. I try not to think about the last time I made this trip. The blood. The carnage. When they finally cleared the breeding floor drains, They found the metal crucifix at the bottom of the pool of blood, all twisted up with chunks of fur and intestines. A soft whisper stops me in my tracks. At first, it's so low I wonder if it's just the wheat swaying in the bitter wind, but it feels more sinister than that. I force myself to step forward, slow and steady. The closer I get to the breeding barn, the more intense the sound grows. It's more than one voice. It sounds like people are whispering, in unison. And there's a beat, a low thud that feels like it's reverberating up from the soil. The glow I saw from my bedroom window is candlelight. I can tell by the way it softly flickers through the gaps in the wood of the barn, but I've never smelled candles like these. There's a strange odor in the air. Maybe some kind of flower, but with a strong scent of decay, like rotting meat. I creep around the back of the barn and peek through one of the cracks in the wood. I don't see anyone, but I hear them, that soft chanting along with the steady boom, like they're stomping their feet. A hulking form stretches along the breeding platform, covered by a dingy tarp the police must have left behind. A figure approaches the breeding platform. He's wearing jeans and a hoodie. When he grabs the edge of the tarp, I notice the symbol on his wrist, the upside-down U with 2 dots above and below. Fucking Tyler. I should have known. 3 other people move into view and my heart picks up speed. I crane my neck to see Ben, Tammy, and Jimmy, all the Preservation Society kids. Everyone except Ollie. Thank God she's not involved in whatever this is, but why would she ask me to meet her here? Did she want me to see this? Maybe she wanted me to stop it. Maybe this was the only way she could tell me they're messing with me, or Tyler put her up to it. Either way, I'm not having it. Just as I open my mouth to holler at them, tell them the joke's over, Tyler pulls off the tarp to reveal a dead cow. Must be at least 1,200 pounds, split right down the middle. My stomach lurches. Bile rises in my throat. Is this where the calf came from? Did they cut it out of her stomach? But the cow's stomach looks full, bloated even. I'm trying to get control of my breath when I see something royal inside the cow's stomach. I clamp my hand tight over my mouth, my eyes beginning to water. Something's alive in there. My knees buckle. I press my forehead against the splintery wood to steady myself. A hand thrusts out from the cow's stomach. A human hand, fingers outstretched. Tyler steps into my line of sight, blocking my view, and I take off running down the length of the barn to get a better look. The next gap in the dilapidated wood reveals the crown of a head emerging from the cow, dark hair slick with blood. The chanting and stomping grow louder, more frenetic, but I can hardly hear a word over the siren-like ringing in my ears. Tyler and the others are circling the cow like a sick merry-go-round, creepy smiles plastered on their glowing faces. Dizziness washes over me. I only catch glimpses, slivers of movement inside the circle. I sprint for the next gap in the wood to see arms and a torso rise from the cow's stomach. A girl. My heart's beating so hard I'm afraid I'll burst. I can't stop staring at her chest. I know I should feel repulsed, but the sharp curve from her waist to her hip bone fills me with something ancient and primal. Sick and wrong. My gut is screaming at me to look away, but I can't stop. The warm, sticky sound as she crawls out of the carcass seeps deep inside of me, making me woozy. Tyler and the others sink to their knees before her. She stands, towering over them, her perfect body glistening with blood and viscera in the golden glow of candlelight. Slowly, she raises her head. When I finally see her face, it feels like all the air has been punched from my lungs. Chin lowered, lips slightly parted, the rise and fall of her chest. Ollie peeks out of her long, slick dark hair. The air returns to me all at once, and I suck in a rasping breath. The corners of her mouth curl into a seductive smile. He's coming. They all turn toward me, their mouths stretched open, letting out a chorus of guttural moans.